All right. Let's see. Let's see. Is this gonna be a musicless intro? Are we gonna do music today? You know, we'll do a little bit of tunes, just a little bit, but not like an actual songs. I just want the instrumental. Hold on. This one of my favorites right here. A lot of y'all young is not gonna recognize this one. A lot of the old heads gonna recognize this one immediately. Ah, Jonathan Taylor, House Call. I see you. I see you, Mike. Hey. Yeah. This is the type of time I'm on this evening. Uh, I got a special delivery for the Sideline Football League. Hey. Woo. Top five. This is a top five instrumental of all time. I don't care what any of y'all say. I just don't care to hear it. I don't think y'all know music if you say this is not a top five instrumental of all time. I'm sorry. I don't care for your feelings in that regard. I don't care. Oh, what about no. This might be top three actually. Oh yeah. I just needed to hear this. G'd up. I love you listen to his music, but just this evening, I just need the instrumental, man. Cause I got a special delivery for those within the Sideline Football League. This is going to be kind of an abbreviated podcast. Not really, but it's still going to be special nonetheless. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Steps, the owner of the Minnesota Vikings, and your host for the One Cut Podcast. This is episode 5. We're gonna call this the predictions. Ooh, mythical. So let's get into some quick stuff. So I am doing this podcast early because my wife has some things going on later this evening. So that's why this podcast is being brought to you live and direct as the last game of week 1 is being played, where it looks like Mike is shining 14-0 against Gabe and the New Orleans Saints. So with that being said, I want to also share that I am not feeling well. I feel like complete garbage. So if you hear me mute the mic, it's probably because I need to cough. And I don't want to cough in all of y'all's ears or anything of the sort, because that's disgusting. And I am not a disgusting person. So let's jump into this podcast. So first and foremost, let's talk about week 1. Week 1 had been, because week 1's almost over, even though it should have been over, but I digress. Week 1 has been fairly interesting, to say the least. Week 1, we had some very interesting endings to some games. First and foremost, welcome back, Bryce. Welcome back to the Sideline Football League after a 2-month hiatus because of work. Welcome back. He will be getting a sim loss against Meeks and the Atlanta Falcons because we do not want Meeks playing a whole nother game all over again. That, and I wanted my lock prediction of my 5 points to be completely counted, and I did not want to be behind the 8 ball. So that's that. I'm joking. Halfway, kind of, sort of, maybe. Anywho, the Saints, like I said, are playing the Colts right now. Looks like Mike, who just scored again and just dove into the end zone like, okay, I'm not even going to say like, he just dove into the end zone 21-0 in that game in the first quarter. I am fairly certain Mike is not losing that game. Let's see. We had the game of the week, which was Turk versus Cody. Ended up 46-45. We had Krim and the Chiefs against OG Walker and the Jets. And, 7 points after making that huge trade for Chase. Not good. But Krim won that one 41-7. We had another one of those after Miami sold the farm for halfback Austin Ekeler, which we will get into both the Chase trade and the Ekeler trade later in this episode. But AC proving his mettle, winning 24-7 against the Dolphins. We had myself as the Vikings against Schwartz and the Bears. That is always a fun time. Vikings win 41-14. We had one of the first upsets, according to the Pick'em. We had Dylan and the Steelers against Julian and the Browns. And baptized 34-7. Did not see that coming. Is this the year Dylan shows up? That is the question on everybody's mind. Not really on everybody's minds. It's mainly on mine. But yeah, who knows? Dylan might be he might be here to do something, man. You never know. He got that new quarterback after rinsing out like two other ones who were perfectly fine. But you know, who's counting? Anywho, we got Gomes winning against JD. That's going to be some growing pains for JD, I'm sure. 42-9. Gomes wins that matchup. We had Bird and the Raiders winning against the new Giants owner who was playing, I think, their second or third game in the SFL, winning 34-24. That was actually a really good game. If y'all didn't see that, y'all want to see some masterclass passing, y'all should go watch that game. That game was good. Then we had one of the bigger surprises, Stacks. If you can't win this one, I don't know which one you're going to win. I'm sorry. I know you're out there listening. I don't mean that to be offensive, but this is a game you should have won. No offense to Brad either, but Brad and the Rams win 23-17 against Stacks and the Houston Texans. So that is unfortunate. I don't know where he gets his first win at. But anywho, then we had TRC and the Titans against Pat Lat and the Seahawks. TRC looks like they are definitely about to make an incredible run this season. They have a lot of speed, and they have two receivers who have 97 plus speed. And I think the third one is like a 60-something overall. And the 60-something overall is the one that went off. So he has multiple receivers who have blazing speed, and the lowest rated overall is the one that went off. So I don't know what that means, because Pat Lat ain't no scrub. So I don't know what that means for the rest of the league, but yeah, that could be bad for the rest of the league. I see a run by TRC coming. So TRC 38, Pat Lat 24. Then we had Garl versus Zach. I did not see this game, but you know, I did not expect anything different. I think Zach is a good user, but it just did not play out well in this one for him. 34-16 was the final score there. Then I watched this one. This one was Jason and the Lions against LB and the Cardinals. I think, you know, I have comments about LB on this one. I think LB sometimes is a little stubborn. I think he could have won this one, but there were some things that he kept doing or kept allowing that just, if he would have stopped that, he would have been fine. But regardless, Lions, Connor Howard had a good showing. That was the number 1 overall pick from this past draft. Jason wins this one 38-31. This one was a fun game. This one, Chan was actually up 21-0, or I think it was 21-0 or 21-7 late into the third. And then Malik started figuring some stuff out with his rookie quarterback. Tobin, he is 67 overall. He's got a big arm, but he has no accuracy. So I think Malik is figuring some stuff out. The growing pains are there, and that's why it was 24-21 and not 34-24 or anything of the sort. Otherwise, Chan played a good game, but he could have played better. He didn't play his best, but he still eked out the win because Tobin is just not there yet. I expect a different result later in the season when they play, but who knows? We'll see. And then we had Castro and the Broncos with a very, very impressive win against Super Bowl contender Buffalo Bills and Guy. Castro went out there and shined on offense. He was playing well enough on defense. He gave Guy fits all game. This was a fun one to watch. Shout out to Castro on that win, proving all the pick'em selectors wrong on this one. And then we had Ed and the Baltimore Ravens against Q and the Chargers. Q, Super Bowl hangover maybe? I don't know. Trying to get adjusted to his new offense with his new players and Austin Ekeler gone? I don't know. Regardless, though, Ed still put up 41, even with Lamar Jackson dying on a handoff. That should tell you what these sliders is going to look like for some of y'all. It's going to be some deaths. And a lot of y'all is going to have some sadness. Whew, God bless y'all. Anywho, so that's what happened with week 1. You know what? Let me go back. Let me drop a surprise real quick. So I have a surprise and I have a disappointment. And so, you know, I forgot that I put this in my little notes, so I can kind of talk about LB. So first of all, let's talk about the surprise. So my surprise was this matchup here, watching Dylan play against Julian and how that played out. I I know Julian has life, right? Julian's busy. Julian doesn't really interact in too much in the chat anymore. He's been kind of distant, to say the least. But I definitely did not expect this result. I didn't expect him to play this poorly. I didn't expect Nick Chubb barely do anything. I don't know. I feel like Julian might be kind of checked out. I mean, I don't know what's going on in his life right now. I know there was kind of like talks with him about being more involved, actually being more active, talking more. But yeah. So I was surprised at Julian losing that game, and I was also as surprised at Dylan winning that game as they had. So that's interesting to say the least. I did not expect that. Disappointment wise, now I can talk about LB real quick. So I think hmm, I'm trying to find the words because I'm not. This is not a slander episode. This is not an episode where I'm trying to talk bad about anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel a certain way. This is also not trying to downplay Jason and the way he played. Because let's get it clear. Let me make it clear. Jason played a heck of a game. He had a much better showing on offense than I'm typically used to seeing. And overall, he spread the football around, as you can see. He played a very good game. So I guess where my problem lies is knowing what your opponent is doing and being willing to adjust. And LB, don't get me wrong, LB is a he's got titles on titles on titles, right? He's the third winningest sideline football league owner in the SFL in its entire history, right? But it just felt like in this game he was just unwilling to make the necessary adjustments to win this game. Like he was so hell-bent on playing the way he wanted to play that like the things that Jason was doing with the not just with the deep passing but the corner routes and the running, it was all like I feel like watching it you could kind of call what was happening, right? But I know it's different when you're behind the sticks versus when you're just watching the game. Like trust me, I 100% understand that. But I feel like there was times where you're just screaming at your TV screen like, "Yo, LB, wake up. You see it. It's right there. Call the corner blitz. Come on. Get to the quarterback. He's calling play action. He's throwing it, So, that game could have been different. LB still played well enough to make the game close, keep the game close. But, things didn't play out, unfortunately. So, shout out to Jason. Jason had a much better offense, like I said. And I think he is going to be different this year. But I'm going to get into that part in a little bit. Because there is a giant segment that I have that's going to be towards the end of this, which is going to be right after I talk about these trades, and it's going to take a little bit of time to walk through this, but I took some time and I went through this whole thing with the schedules and the predictions, and this is why the episode is called The Prediction, and y'all are going to see why in a second. So first and foremost, let's talk about these trades. Okay, so there were 2 trades that were made so far to begin this cycle, or this season 2 of the SFL. The first trade was the Los Angeles Chargers traded Austin Ekeler to the Miami Dolphins for a 2024 second round pick, a 2025 first round pick, a 2025 second round pick, halfback Myles Gaskins, right end Christian Wilkins, tight end Paul Kennedy. There was another trade made soon thereafter, which was the infamous wide receiver Jamar Chase trade from the Cincinnati Bengals to the New York Jets for wide receiver Garrett Wilson, right tackle Mekhi Becton, left end Jermaine Johnson, a 2024 first round pick, 2024 second round pick, a 2025 first round pick, and a 2025 fourth round pick. Okay, so a lot of y'all were not fans of either trade. Most specifically, the wide receiver Jamar Chase trade. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this in a practical sense, and let's talk about this in a Madden sense. Okay, so let's talk about the Austin Ekeler trade first, because I think I can easily go through that one versus the Chase trade. Probably requires just a little bit more finesse. So yes, people mostly hate this trade because he made the trade with Q. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Most of y'all hate this Austin Ekeler trade because he made the trade with Q. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm talking about you. You right there that's listening, that's saying, no, not me, never, not me. No, I'm different. No, you. You hate this trade because he traded with Q. That's it. That's the main deal with this. Otherwise, this trade, in a Madden sense, was totally fine. Yes, he already had a running back he drafted in the first. Yes, he had another running back that he found, like a second rounder or third rounder or something like that. Sure, fine. But in Madden, in franchise mode, we're talking about having a player that is near 99 overall, that has abilities, which abilities are king. Okay? Hear me out. Having abilities are king. You can be a 77 overall and have abilities, and you will play better than an 88 overall that has no abilities. Okay? Abilities are king. So he gets himself a running back with abilities. So he already has two of the most explosive, dynamic wide receivers in the SFL in Tyreek Hill, who has abilities, and Jalen Waddle, who also has abilities. Yes, he traded away Myles Gaskins. Who is he? I don't know. Yes, he traded away his starting right end, which I believe he said he had a right end that has... Yup, he has a hidden development trait. So he might be him. Who knows? The main piece of the deal that I personally was just like, okay, that's steep, but I get it if you're trying to get your offense right and get the deal done, was trading away his superstar X Factor rookie tight end, Paul Kennedy. That's steep, but at the same time, if that's what moves the needle to get yourself a near 99 overall player, you do it. Okay? If you feel like your skills are good enough to just one more piece and you're good, and it costs you some salary dumps and then a superstar X Factor tight end, I mean, why not? Typically, the SFL runs for 4, maybe 5 seasons, depending on interest level. So you're trading away these future picks. Like, okay, he gets rid of the second round for this year, but he kept his first rounder for this year. He kept his first. So he got a superstar X Factor running back and kept his first. Next year is when he's going to pay the piper. He's getting rid of his first and his second rounder. By then, he could be in a much better place offensively and defensively, and just have an overall much more productive team. Yeah, it sucks that he doesn't have his first and second next year, but that's going to be season 3 going into season 4. Who cares at that point? Who cares? Those picks are near useless at that point. So yes, you go get your 98 overall running back if you feel like that's the missing piece. Running backs in Madden versus real life, this is where the practicality versus Madden wise comes into play. You're not going to spend assets for running backs in real life, right? But on Madden, if you feel like that X Factor running back is what's going to do it, then do it. Why not? I don't see the problem. It's not like he traded for an X Factor safety. You know, like, don't trade for an X Factor safety with that kind of, like, regard. Like, don't do that. Like, you get a player that you can actually use, play in, play out, and he can be a constant force on your team and its overall success. Let's do that. Now this one though, I got a different tune on this one. So first and foremost, let me get this out the way. Jamar Chase should have been a Viking. Yes, I said it. Jamar Chase should have been a Viking. I had a framework and a deal in place to acquire said wide receiver, and I just wanted utter domination on offense with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. So trading for Jamar Chase, in my opinion, is not a big deal. It's not an issue. That's not an issue at all. What the issue is the way in which you got rid of assets that are young and pivotal assets to your team's longevity and overall success for said wide receiver Jamar Chase. Now check me out. The difference between this trade and the Miami Dolphins trade is that halfback Myles Gaskins, right end Christian Wilkins are salary dumps, and he kept his first round pick for this year. In this trade, you got rid of Garrett Wilson, who is, let me go to the Bengals real quick because I don't want to say what overall he was and be completely wrong. You got Garrett Wilson, who is a 23-year-old, 81 overall wide receiver. You got rid of your mainstay right tackle, Mekhi Becton, who is a superstar rating, 24 years old. You got rid of left end Jermaine Johnson, who is 24 years old, and he is almost about to be like good enough to really like do well. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the attributes, he just has a low overall. And then you got rid of a 2024 first, a 2024 second. Then you got rid of a 2025 first and 2025 second or fourth. So, okay. Again, abilities are king, right? Abilities are king. When you give up abilities to get abilities, it kind of that's when the conversation gets a little different. You know, you're giving up abilities in Mekhi Becton, which not every offensive tackle is going to have abilities, and him being as young as he is, as long as his offense plays well, he's not going to lose those abilities. And offensive tackles and guards and centers with abilities are nice. They're nice to have. I promise you. I have personally not had the pleasure of having them, but I have watched offenses with them, and they are nice to have. So you're giving up these key young pieces, these key draft picks for a wide receiver who didn't play the very best in his first game. Like, at the very least, if you're going to trade for him, he's got to be him in that offense from day one. Like, day one, no matter what. You could lose by 60, even though that would be illegal in the SFL. You can lose by 60. Jamar Chase has got to have over 100 yards. Okay, he can't have 3 for 78 for 1. He can't. He can't. That is unacceptable. You can't do it. You can't trade away all those young pieces. You can't gut your team in different ways. I mean, you got Alex Leatherwood starting here now. I mean, at least you got John Franklin Meyer. You got defensive end depth. I get it. But you get rid of your picks. For a wide receiver, you're not using nearly as much as you should, or at least you're not getting him the football in the ways in which matter. That's hurtful. That's harmful for your overall success in the SFL, let alone just practically just in general, right? So, I don't want to say this trade was bad, right? Because ultimately, I believe that if you can get yourself an X Factor player that is actually impactful on your game as a whole, then you do it. Price tag aside, like, you do it. But I feel like if you are getting rid of key young assets for this, then you gotta make more of an effort to make him him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do more. Like, Chase got to be the leading receiver in all categories going forward. Like, he's got to be him. So those are the two trades made so far. I know people have their own opinions, thinking that both trades are horrid. I think the Austin Ekeler trade is fine. The Jamar Chase trade could have been a little better. It wasn't the very best, but it could have been a little better. But I digress on that point. Okay. So, this is the largest freaking most in-depth endeavor that I've ever embarked upon. All right? And I did it for the sake of content, baby. I did it for y'all. I did it for the people. I did it for the Canadians and the Asians. I did it for y'all. I did it for all y'all. I did this portion of the podcast specifically with y'all in mind. I love y'all so much. I love that y'all listening, y'all tune in, y'all are with your boy on this fine Sunday, and I'm able to provide this bit of content for y'all. This is what I did. Let's talk real quick. So I went through weeks 1 through 18. I picked a winner in each and every game played. Every single game. From the worst of games to the best of games. So, I am going to quickly go through each one without telling you why and what and how and when and where, because we'll be here all night and I ain't got the time. Y'all ain't got the time. I ain't got the time. I'm going to quickly go through this. I'm going to tell you each winner. I'm going to tell you each loser, whatever, and we'll just see how this go. I'm going to stop at week 9, because at week 9, I'm going to give y'all what I have as the predicted standings by week 9. All right, so I'm not going to touch week 1. The only thing I'm going to say about week 1 is that there is one change that I have on here that it's going to be different than what you see on Madden. So I predicted Buffalo to win against Denver for week 1 because I did all this when that game still wasn't played yet. I predicted that winner. Everything else is correct. Just know that the Denver Broncos have a win in week 1, but standings wise and what I'm predicting is going to be totally different because I already went through that. Okay, so here we go. Let's run through it real quick. Week 2, y'all going to hear this paper moving and everything because I'm about to just breeze through this. All right, Ravens win. Buffalo wins. Carolina wins. Denver wins. Tennessee wins. Jets win. Packers win. Jaguars win. Raiders. Bengals. Cardinals. Cowboys. Seahawks. Buccaneers. Chargers. Lions. Excuse me. All right, week 3. Let's hurry up and go through this. Let me see if I can do this a little faster. Jaguars. Seahawks. Buccaneers. Raiders. Packers. 49ers. Panthers. Cardinals. Patriots. Dolphins. Giants. Chargers. Broncos. Titans. Eagles. Ravens. Week 4. Moving. To the top. Dolphins. Ravens. Packers. Falcons. Cowboys. Eagles. Buccaneers. Vikings. Seahawks. 49ers. Broncos. Chargers. Titans. Bills. Cardinals. Patriots. By the way, some of y'all gonna be mad at me because these week 9 predictions, like the standings, y'all gonna hate the result and what it looks like at that point. But just stick with me real quick. Stick with me. Buccaneers, Patriots, Panthers, Cowboys, Jaguars, Bengals, Bears, Bills, Seahawks, Chargers, Falcons, Raiders, Vikings, Eagles, Packers, Ravens. And this is with Huntley dead. Or excuse me, this is with Lamar Jackson dead. I have faith, but not in this game. Lions, Patriots, Colts, Panthers, Chiefs, Eagles, Saints, Chargers, Cardinals, Jaguars, Bears, Packers, Raiders, Seahawks. Week 7. Trying to breeze through this. Giants, Colts, Steelers, Ravens. I think Lamar's back by then. Patriots, Vikings, Panthers, Lions, Cardinals, Titans, Packers, Tampa, Buccaneers, and Falcons. Week 8. Okay, we're about to get to the stopping point. Titans, Bills, Packers, 49ers, Carolina, Dallas, New England, Atlanta, Seattle, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Philly, Chargers, and the Jets. Okay, after I read week 9, we're going to get into the standings. Carolina, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Chargers, Jets, Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Seattle, Denver, Raiders, Tennessee Titans, Giants, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, so really quick, let's get into these standings. So at this point in the season with these predictions, I got in the AFC East, I got the New England Patriots in first place at 6-2. I got the Buffalo Bills in second place at 5-3. I got the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets tied at 3-5 for third and fourth place. AFC West, I got the Los Angeles Chargers at 7-1 in first. I got the Las Vegas Raiders at second and 6-2. I got the Denver Broncos at 4-4 for third place, and I got the Kansas City Chiefs at 3-6 for fourth place. The AFC North, I got the Baltimore Ravens at 7-1 for first place. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers in second place at 3-5. The Cincinnati Bengals slacking off, third place, 3-6. And then the Cleveland Browns, I don't know when they'll be winning another game, at 0-8 for fourth place. The AFC South, I got the Tennessee Titans running roughshod over the league, 7-1 for first place. I got Jacksonville Jaguars, 5-4, second place. Indianapolis Colts, 3-6. Third place. And then I got the god-awful, unfortunately, Houston Texans, 0-9 for fourth place. Hopefully he can prove me wrong. NFC time. NFC East, I have in first place the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-2. I have the Dallas Cowboys in second place at 5-3. The New York Giants, who I think are better than this, but I need to see more, 3-6 for third place. Then I have the Washington Commanders at 0-9. I think JD's better than that. I just don't see where the win comes in yet. NFC West, I have the Seattle Seahawks 7-2 in first place. I have the Arizona Cardinals second place at 6-3. The San Francisco 49ers, who I think also is better than this. I just don't see the wins yet. 3-6 for third place. And then I have the Los Angeles Rams 1-8 for fourth place. God bless you. NFC North, I have Turk and the Green Bay Packers at 8-1. I have the Detroit Lions in second place at 6-3. The Minnesota Vikings at 4-4 for third place. The Chicago Bears at 2-6 for fourth place. Unfortunately, I think they are still going to be at the bottom of that division, even though they have played much better so far. NFC South, I have in first place the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 8-1. I have the Carolina Panthers in second place at 7-2. I have the Atlanta Falcons, the surprise darling of the league so far, at third place and 6-2. I see the wins there for him. They're there. He just has to go out and get them. And then I have the New Orleans Saints, Gabe, who is probably going to be drunk and high all at the same time, rolling at the bottom of that division at 1-8. Okay. So, let us quickly run through the rest of this, because this is where things get funky. Okay, flip the page on this. Alright, let's see if we can breeze through this faster. I got Tennessee, Minnesota, Dallas, 49ers, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philly, Carolina, KC, Baltimore, Chargers, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Cincy, week 11. To the top. Indianapolis, I got the Giants, I got Buffalo, I got the Patriots, I got the Chargers, I got New Orleans, I got Tennessee, I got Philly, I got Raiders, I got San Francisco, I got Arizona, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Jacksonville, week 12. To the top. Come on, let's move it. Tennessee, KC, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Chargers, Indianapolis, New England, Arizona, Baltimore, Washington, Green Bay, Las Vegas, Detroit, Philly, Cincy, week 13 to the top. I got Detroit, Baltimore, Dallas, Baltimore, New England, Cleveland, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, KC, Minnesota, Chargers, Philly, Tennessee, week 14. Come on. Move it. Green Bay, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Chargers, Cincy, Minnesota, Baltimore, Philly, Denver, Vegas, Carolina, Arizona, Jacksonville. Week 15, almost there. Stick with me, guys. Stick with me. Carolina, KC, Arizona, Tennessee, Philly, New York Giants, Cleveland, Minnesota, Cincy, Denver, Seattle, Buffalo, Chargers, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville. Week 16, 2 more weeks. Or I guess technically 3 more. Minnesota, Dallas, Buffalo, Tennessee, New England, Giants, Arizona, Baltimore, KC, Carolina, San Francisco, Denver, Vegas, Seattle, Chargers, ATL. 2 more. Just 2 more, guys. Almost there. Carolina, KC, Chargers, Philly, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Green Bay, Arizona, Baltimore, Seattle, Giants, Cincy, Raiders, and New England. Final week of the regular season. Pivotal week for some teams. I got the Chargers, Green Bay, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Giants, Cincy, Philly, Carolina, KC, Vegas, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Minnesota, Denver, Arizona, and Tampa Bay. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk predicted standings. Predicted standings after all of these games that got played. Jesus, there were so many. All right, so let's start at the top. So, let me go back, because I want to flip back and forth. Let me see. All right, so in the AFC East, we had in first place Buffalo at 13-4. Second place, New England at 11-6. Third place, Jets at 3-14. It's a bad season for the Jets despite that trade. Miami Dolphins, fourth place, 3-14. They were fourth place based on tiebreaker. Yes, I went and researched tiebreakers for this. I got y'all. This is why I do this, baby. This is why I provide the content for y'all, man. I do it for y'all, all right? I do the tiebreakers research for y'all. I neglected my kids for y'all. I'm just saying, man, I got y'all. The AFC West, that ended up being Chargers at first in 16-1. We had the Las Vegas Raiders at 12-5 in second place. We had KC at 10-7, and then we had Denver at 8-9. Okay, and then we got the AFC North. The AFC North ended up being in first place. Baltimore Ravens at 14-3. The Cincinnati Bengals at 9-8. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 6-11. Not a bad season for them. It's progression, not perfection. And then the Cleveland Browns at 3-14. Then the AFC South, we had in first place the Tennessee Titans at 14-3. We had the Jacksonville Jaguars at 10-7. Then we had Indianapolis Colts at 6-11. And then we had the Houston Texans having one of our only 0-17 seasons thus far in the SFL. I'm so sorry. That first week you should have won. You didn't. I think you might be not winning this year. I'm sorry. And then we got the NFC East. Well, first we got the NFC, and now we got the NFC East to start. We have in first place the Philadelphia Eagles at 14-3. Second place the Dallas Cowboys at 8-9. Third place the New York Giants also at 8-9. And then in fourth place, the Washington Commanders at 1-16. Again, growing pains. The NFC West. NFC West, we got the Arizona Cardinals at 13-4. We got Seattle at 11-6. We got San Francisco 49ers at 7-10. And then we got the Los Angeles Rams at 1-16. You get to have joy in week one, but the rest of the weeks are going to be bad for you, Brad. I'm sorry. NFC North. This is a fun one. We got Green Bay 13-4. We got Minnesota at 11-6. We got Detroit at 9-8. And then we got the Chicago Bears at 2-15. The NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we got in first place at 15-2. Then we got the Carolina Panthers at 13-4. We got the Atlanta Falcons at 7-10. So again, they started off 6-2 by week 9. They end the year 7-10. It got rough for them. And then we got the New Orleans Saints in fourth place at 3-14. Woo! Lord Jesus. That took some time. What took even more time is researching these tiebreakers. So let's talk playoff seedings, okay? So, in the AFC, the 1 seed, Chargers. The 2 seed, Tennessee Titans. The 3 seed, Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Tennessee Titans had a 14-3 record. The Baltimore Ravens had a 14-3 record. I had the Tennessee Titans winning head-to-head against Baltimore. So they get the 2 seed. Baltimore gets the 3 seed. Buffalo at 13-4 gets the 4 seed. The Las Vegas Raiders at 12-5 get the 5 seed. The New England Patriots at 11-6 get the 6 seed. Here's where things get tricky. I had the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs both at 10-7. They did not play head-to-head. So the next tiebreaker, according to NFL, is best division record. The Jacksonville Jaguars had one more win in their division than the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry, Krim, but you're out. Jacksonville Jaguars get the final seed in the AFC at 10-7. In the NFC, we had the 1 seed, Tampa Bay again, 15-2. The 2 seed, Philadelphia, 14-3. Arizona gets the 3 seed at 13-4. Green Bay also has a 13-4 record, but unfortunately, best division record came into play, and Arizona had a better division record than Green Bay. So Arizona gets the 3 seed, Green Bay gets the 4 seed. Carolina Panthers, 13-4. And then we had another division record, Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks, both at 11-6. Minnesota Vikings end up getting the 6th seed because they had a better division record than the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks go to 7th seed at 11-6. Minnesota as the 6th seed at 11-6. So first man out in the AFC was Krim at 10-7. The first man out in the NFC was the Detroit Lions at 9-8. Now that's just the regular season. You know I got the postseason for you. Y'all know I got the postseason for you too, man. You know I got the postseason for y'all. But I'm not going to sit here and explain it. I don't want to hear the comments in the chat like, well, you got to consider this and the injury. I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to tell you, if all conditions were perfect, there ain't no snow, there ain't no people coming off of binges with drugs and all the alcohol and all this and trying to play game. I'm not going to consider any of that. Just if all conditions are perfect on both sides, this is who's winning and this is who's losing. So in the wild card round, to start off, let me just give y'all the matchups. I'm going to tell y'all the winners. So in the wild card round, we got the 2 seed Tennessee Titans against the 7 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. We got the 3 seed Baltimore Ravens against the 6 seed New England Patriots. We got the 4 seed Buffalo Bills against the 5 seed Las Vegas Raiders. Then we have the 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles versus the 7 seed Seattle Seahawks. I feel like we've seen that before. Then we have the 3 seed Arizona Cardinals versus the 6 seed Minnesota Vikings. And then we have the 4 seed Green Bay Packers against 5 seed Carolina Panthers. Fun. Okay. Tennessee Titans versus Jacksonville. Tennessee wins that game. Baltimore versus New England. Baltimore wins that game. Buffalo Bills against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders win that game. Eagles versus Seahawks. Another beatdown. Eagles win. Arizona versus the Minnesota Vikings. First upset of the postseason. Minnesota wins against Arizona. And then we got Green Bay versus Carolina. 2 people Malik does not want to face in the playoffs. LB and Turk. Turk wins that game. Sorry, Malik. Divisional round. Let's talk about the matchups. Now the 1 seeds are in play. We got the 1 seed Los Angeles Chargers against the 5 seed Las Vegas Raiders. The 2 seed Tennessee Titans versus the 3 seed Baltimore Ravens. I cannot wait to see that. The 1 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the 6 seed Minnesota Vikings. And the 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles versus the 4 seed Green Bay Packers. Okay. We got Chargers versus Raiders. We've seen that before. I am not convinced that's going to go another way. Chargers win that one. Tennessee versus Baltimore. I think that is going to be a phenomenal game if all conditions are right on both sides. But I don't think Baltimore can stop that speed on offense and Derrick Henry. Tennessee wins that game. Tampa Bay versus Minnesota. Fun. I faced Chan in the playoffs multiple times. I've only won against him once. It stays that way. Tampa Bay wins. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. I am honestly fine with either one winning, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Garl has a Garl, like a non-good Garl game. And I think Green Bay wins that one. So then you're left for the conference championship. You have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Tennessee Titans. We've seen that before. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. Fun. Like I said, we saw Chargers versus Tennessee. I've explicitly stated before that there are levels. There's levels to this. I do not think, even with the speed, even with the power, that he has achieved that level yet. I'm sorry, I'm talking to you, TRC. Chargers win that one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. What a fun matchup. Underdog story. I think most people figure Chan's going to win. I'm personally rooting for Green Bay and Turk to win because I want to see Turk in the Super Bowl. I just don't think it happens. Tampa Bay wins that matchup. And then in the Super Bowl, we have the 2 1 seeds from both respective sides. 3 combined losses. The Los Angeles Chargers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this is where Chan reappears as the Chan Man Wilson that he is. And he wins this game. Chan wins the Super Bowl. That is it. That is all. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I'm just telling y'all how it's going to be. All right? I'm just saying. It is what it is. I think that's the way the season plays out. That took me a long time to do. Thank y'all for bearing with me, but that's what I got for y'all. This is content, baby. This is what I live for. I live to give y'all the content, man. I come here every day, put my best foot forward, trying to give y'all the content, trying to let y'all know I love the Canadians, I love the Asians. I love y'all, man. I'm here for y'all. All of y'all. No discrimination on my behalf, man. I love y'all. But anyways, that's going to be it. Because it looks like this game with Mike, oh my God, 38-0? Alright, man. I said Gabe wins. How many games? Yeah, we might have to change that. I don't think Gabe's going to. If Gabe's losing like this to Mike, then I don't know. But anywho, that's it. That's all I got for this podcast, man. The One Cut Podcast. This is episode 5, the predictions. Thank y'all for joining me this evening. I'm sorry that I had to run this a lot sooner than expected, but things come up. But I still got to produce the content despite that. You know what I'm saying? I got gotta still provide for y'all. I gotta feed y'all. The streets need me. The streets need me. No, I'm joking. But I love y'all, man. Good luck to y'all. Final tidbits. Make sure you actually go in, do your hire, and assign for scouts. Um, there was another thing. Practice squad. Make sure you read the rule about practice squad that Krim dropped in the league announcements. And also, if you're trying to do content of any type on Discord, shoot me a PM, shoot me a message, shoot one of the admins a message, and we'll set up a channel for you. Talk to us about your ideas, whatever you got, and we'll make sure you carried away, taken care of. So, anyways, we love y'all, man. The One Cut, the official, the illustrious One Cut Podcast, Sideline Football League podcast for y'all. I love y'all. Be easy. Take care. I holla.